Hello everybody. This visual essay will highlight the presence of Orientalism in the Kung Fu film genre by analyzing the semantics, syntactics, and pragmatic elements in 4 selected films, and its impacts and perception by the audience in different national cinemas. What is Orientalism? Orientalism is a difference in portrayal of East compared to the West. In this case, we will be looking at Orientalism towards the Kung Fu genre. Semantically, a movie such as The Forbidden Kingdom follows the traditional setting of the Kung Fu genre to a certain degree. It delivers a strong, conventional narrative of the law student who is trained by master who are much older and experienced in order to guide the young student to victory. The implementation of in-depth martial arts choreography and implementation give the movie a strong nod to the originality of wuxia arts from Hong Kong. However, the strong implications of magic creates a fantasy China, and the heavy use of computer-generated effects make the Forbidden Kingdom unconventional and different from the normal Kung Fu cultures. How? Syntactically, when looking at the context of this movie, the fantasy and magical implications combined with the showcase imperialistic regime and uncivilized chaotic world of China, which makes the American culture perceive China much differently. This can be seen in how the movie makes Jason appear from the more peaceful America to a heavily chaotic China, where Jason saving the Chinese people could be analyzed as America saving China from its own culture. This is also why some Chinese cinemas were dissatisfied at the Forbidden Kingdom's extreme fantasy, while American cinemas greatly accepted the film upon its release. Moving on to a much more well-known movie, The Karate Kid, where the existence of Orientalism is still noticeable. Chinese cinemas in specific had several combative scenes taken out or re-edited from the original cut due to strong implications on perceiving how Chinese were portrayed as dishonest, racist, and generalized throughout the movie as bad. Although the semantics of the movie were somewhat in line with the typical elements of the Kung Fu genre, the narrative continuously sets up the audience in a way that creates strong negativity of Chinese characters. This is apparent with the final villain being a Chinese child, and yet again, setting up perception of America's fight against China. This creates a strong disconnect to Eastern viewers, more specifically Chinese audiences, despite the strong success the movie has in America. On the other hand, when looking at the Kung Fu genre through the scope of Asian films, Orientalism is comparatively lower in a film such as Kung Fu Hustle than Hollywood-produced Kung Fu films. Semantically, Kung Fu Hustle uses Stephen Chow's typical comedy-driven humor while paying respect to actual Kung Fu combat style. Although Chow's heavy inspiration from Hollywood is an aspect that is implemented in the movie, Kung Fu Hustle does not lose its strong cultural roots in Hong Kong and Chinese cinemas. This is why, in comparison to Hollywood films such as Karate Kid, Kung Fu Hustle is harder to categorize as a Chinese-produced film or Hollywood film, as it does a good job of making sure all its elements flow as one with minimal Orientalism and therefore combining mainstream Hollywood with appropriate Chinese and Hong Kong Kung Fu culture. Furthermore, Chandni Chowk to China is a Bollywood version of a traditional Kung Fu movie. The film cleverly blends the two worlds by drawing on the conventions of both film traditions as it travels from Chandni Chowk in Delhi to a village in China. There was a use of traditional semantics to display action scenes such as Kung Fu stereotype weapons and music that is very similar to the original Kung Fu films, but with a Bollywood element added for more exaggeration, making it more over-dramatic than usual Kung Fu films. Moreover, basic syntactics exist such as the protagonist's character development while mastering Kung Fu. On the other hand, this film had unique syntactics like portraying romance and family reconciliation. However, it is rare to see musical elements in traditional Kung Fu film. Portrayal of songs in this Bollywood version revealed not only how Indian cinema sees itself with respect to the rest of the continent, but also the extent to which the way it sees itself and how it is not premised on the Western Orientalist pattern. To conclude this video, it can be said that Kung Fu and Orientalism are a common theme, specifically when looking at American cinemas, with the elements of movies such as The Karate Kid requiring specific portrayals of China to be successful in America, while Asian films such as Chandni Chowk and Kung Fu Hustle focuses more on their own culture to appeal to their own domestic cinemas without the inclusion of strong Orientalism. Well, thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed.